This is tender. Crazy. Look at that. We're gonna take two different briskets, a Choice and a Wagyu. We're gonna cook them hot and fast on the drum smoker to get that color and flavor. We're gonna wrap them in butcher paper and finish them overnight on the pellet cooker. So check this out. I've got a Choice brisket that I just picked up from Walmart, nothing fancy, okay? And I've got a Wagyu brisket. They are roughly the same size. I would say this was a 21 pounder. I think this was about an 18 pounder. I'm gonna give them a quick trim. We're not doing a competition trim. We're doing more of a at-home trim. And we're gonna inject them the same way, cook them the same way. And then I wanna see the exact difference of these two briskets tomorrow when we cut it, all right? I've just been curious about, you know, cooking them side by side and seeing what the real difference. This is a $70 brisket. This is a $200 brisket, okay? So we got some differences going on. I'm gonna try to cook them as controlled as I possibly can, see what happens. So the first thing I wanna do is trim up the brisket. I'll start with the Choice, and I can tell you right now, whoever cut this thing at the packer shop, there's a reason you're not cutting Wagyu briskets. Look at this thing, hacked to absolute death. I mean, I'm not gonna say any names, but there's a reason why you're not cutting that $200 brisket for us. Look at this. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna take the heavy fat off, save all that. It's good for trim, burgers, grind, sausage. And I'm just gonna go around the edge, round it all off, make sure it's aerodynamic. I don't want sharp edges or points. We want the air to flow around it smoothly and evenly. And one of the main things I like to do when I cook a brisket like this, as soon as I flip it over, I'll show you. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take the rest of this point off because it is just totally hacked. It's also brown and nasty. Just round these guys up. Just use your common sense while you're trimming this. If it looks off, take it off. Round off the edges, make it smooth. Okay, there she is. Not bad for a 2-minute trim job. No reason to get too crazy about this side. I'm gonna cook meat side down and fat side up on this cook. You can use a bigger slicer if you like. I typically do a combo when I'm trimming a brisket. The slicer's nice when you're cutting this fat off because you can get a long, smooth line. There's a ridge right here. Okay, go ahead and take that, make it even. Okay, just a little more. I want to keep about a 1/4 inch of fat on this thing if I can. Maybe an 1/8 inch. As long as it's kind of somewhat even, we're good. Finish up the ridge up here. Got down into it there, it's fine. That's as far as we want to go. That's your point, just about to show, and I'm going to leave that fat over top of it. Just enough to cover the meat to keep the moisture. We don't want a big hole in the middle of this where it holds water or liquid or moisture that's going to come out of this meat while we cook it. We want that to kind of drain or shed off of the brisket. If it holds, what do we get? We get a bleached out spot, we get a place where you're holding moisture, and your bark will never set up in that spot, okay? So we're gonna try to set a nice bark. Since we are cooking low and slow, that's one of the advantages of cooking low and slow. You can typically set more of a classic style Texas bark, if you will. Now I want to do the same thing to the Wagyu brisket. So differences, once again, Choice, Wagyu. You can notice already there's more marbling in the Wagyu brisket. Obviously the butcher took a little more time and care trimming this thing. There's literally 0 gashes. They did a perfect job. I'm not gonna take a lot of this silver skin off. I'm gonna go ahead and let that cook off. That silver skin will actually hold in some moisture as well. I'm gonna go ahead and take the same little bit of decal fat off of here, like we did. This one does not have the big gash on the point, so we're gonna have a little bit more of a point on it for burnt ends. so that'll be nice. Take this edge down. It's got a little bit of dry age from when the cow was hanging. That area is exposed when it hangs. Again, just round it off. And then we'll flip it over, and you'll notice full coverage again. No gouges. It's got a little bit bigger ridge on it. Go ahead and take this little flapper off. And then just even out the fat cap. Tighten this point up just a little bit. Perfect. Knock my ridge down just a little more to get that big hunk of fat out of there. See how we've got perfect arc to everything? That's all going to cook evenly and set up a real nice bark. Okay? So again, if you want to spend hours on this, go right ahead. My main objective here, like I said, is just to get it even, nice. Next up, I want to get these injected. So I'm going to put the same injection in both of them. Same flavor profile. Again, I'm trying something new. I've got a can of beef consomme in here. Campbell's beef consomme, and I put 8 ounces of Wagyu beef tallow in there. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of our Blues Hog beef marinade, and then I'm going to fill it up with water. So obviously the tallow and everything is not going to totally mix, but I'm going to try to keep it shaken up. And since we're doing experiments with low and slow, I might as well experiment with the injection. All right, let's hit this choice brisket first. I'm gonna just go ahead and go kind of at a 45-degree angle to the grain and just keep hitting it. So I flipped it. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the point all over. And we're good. So I'm going to take that liquid and that moisture that seeped out from the injection and just rub it on there kind of like we would a binder. Got all that tallow in there, that's nice. So here we go on the Wagyu brisket. We're going to do the exact same process. Keep that needle moving because you don't want a big pocket of injection. You want to disperse it. All right, guys, so we've got both these briskets injected. The Choice is injected, the Wagyu's injected. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of wipe some of that excess liquid off of there. And first rub I'm gonna use is our Bold and Beefy. This is what we use on brisket in competitions and pretty much every time I cook a brisket. You can see it's got some powder, and that's our rendered beef fat. So make sure you get that powder on there. That's the good stuff. That's where your flavor's at. We'll hit them both the same once again. And then I'm gonna go back with all in. This has gotta have some bigger salt and some good 16 mesh black pepper in there. Just a really good all-purpose rub. So it's gonna be salt, pepper, garlic, onion, a little bit of sugar to start caramelizing with that fat. It's gonna help us set up our bark. And then we're ready to flip and do the same thing to what is gonna be the top side. So this is gonna be our top side. We're going fat cap up on this cook. All right, these guys are seasoned, injected. We're gonna let them rest for about 30 minutes. You can actually do this the day before if you'd like. I would definitely give it 30 minutes to an hour before you put them on. Let that kind of soak in there and start to tenderize. But we're gonna get our drum smokers ready and get ready for the first round of smoke on these. Okay, so we're out here. We've got the drum smoker lit up. And as you can see, we filled up the basket with lump charcoal. We've got some chunks of wood. I'm gonna add a few more post oak chunks. I wanna make sure this thing gets a nice smoke. First thing I'm gonna do is put a grate on the second level of pegs. Then I'm gonna take my pan. I'm gonna create a heat deflector shield. Put this one over top, and then our brisket goes on. Wagyu brisket on directly over the pan. All right. All right, it's been 2.5 hours. I want to check out the Wagyu brisket. The fat's bubbling and dancing. We've been rolling pretty strong, 350 to 400 on this bad boy. Look at this right here. That's what I love. So let's go wrap him up. All right, Mr. Choice, rolling right along also. Look at that fat bubbling. I like it. All right, we started off our cook hot and fast on the Gateway drum smokers. We've got our beautiful color. We got some of that fat dancing and sizzling and popping. We ran these fat cap up. All right, normally on the drum we start fat down, but I did it different this time. Ran a fat cap up, ran a deflector plate underneath of it, and we just got pure barbecue sizzle on that baby. We got the rub to tack up on the fat side. It looks really good actually, and it only took about 2 to 2.5 hours on there. Now we're gonna wrap them in butcher paper, and we're gonna put them back on the pellet grill and finish them low and slow. So we're gonna take 2 big sheets, lay them out about halfway overlapped. I wanna take some beef tallow and just wipe it onto this butcher paper. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna make the paper a little more pliable, which means it's gonna stick and wrap tighter. You wanna get a nice tight wrap on this. All right, let's start with the Wagyu brisket. The big old Wagyu brisket, right there. Put him out a little farther. So the first thing I wanna do, take this butcher paper, make sure you get enough. So I'm gonna go a little farther that way, so you can tuck it. So you can roll and tuck. And by putting that tallow on there, helps it be a little more pliable, so it tucks better. All right, so we've got our first tuck. I'm gonna pull it back, so it really tightens up, okay? Now, take the edges, again, get them kind of softened up, fold it in like you would wrap a present. Fold it again. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Fold her in. Up. Okay. Tight, tight, tight. Now we roll. 2 rolls and we're right back where we started. Fat cap up. That's pretty nice. It's tight. It's ready to go back on. Brisket in the middle. Full tuck. While I'm breaking rules that I already broke, I'm going ahead and break one of my other ones, and that is I'm going to insert a probe. I've never done it before. Heard a lot about it. I'm going to go ahead and put one in the Choice brisket and put one right smack dab in the middle of the Wagyu brisket. So I'm gonna move this one to the middle as well. All right, we did it. We have probes in. This is a wireless probe system, runs off Wi-Fi. I've got an app on my phone that I can watch it while I'm at home. Go ahead and run this one. Up top, this bad boy right under it. Perfect. So with this hybrid style cook, I ran hot and fast, got that flavor and moisture from the drum, got our color, got our sizzle, wrapped it in butcher paper. I put it on the Smokin' Brothers pellet grill, set it to 225 right now, and I'm gonna run this thing basically all night long. So I've got this hooked to my phone, the grill hooks to my phone, and the app hooks to my phone. So I've got full control over everything. I can log in tonight, check my temp. I'm gonna go for about 205 to 208 on these briskets. As soon as it hits that, I can send this cooker into hold mode, which is about 160 degrees. And it'll go from cooking at 225 to holding till I'm ready to get it off. All right, guys, we're on day 2 of our hybrid brisket cook, the hot and fast, low and slow combo. Smoking Brothers has been running all night. See what's happening here. Those things died. Look at that. 208, absolute perfection, what we're shooting for. As luck would have it, she's done. That's the Wagyu right there. Here's your choice. There's that. All right, here we go, moment of truth. We're gonna do the choice brisket first. See what's happening here. First time ever trying this hybrid cook. Oh boy. But we put this brisket on the drum smoker at about 300 degrees, hot and fast to start with. We got the fat sizzling and bubbling. And then after 2.5 hours, we took it and wrapped it in butcher paper, put it on the pellet grill all night long until it reached about 208 internal temp. And then I was able to adjust the pellet cooker on my phone from 225 down to 160 to hold the brisket. So we've had a hot and fast cook, we've had a low and slow cook, and we've had a huge rest period. So let's see what's going on here. This is the choice brisket. Yeah, I like the looks of her. Just look how tender it is though. Wow. Jeez. So when you cut the point, I like to go ahead and turn it and cut against the point grain. That's the point meat, that's the flat meat. This is tender. So this is the Wagyu brisket, okay? Exact same process. This one was a little bit bigger, so it may, who knows? Let's find out what it does. Here she is. That's the meat side, looks good. And folks, this is why you cannot cook to temp, right? Because look, 203, okay, if you say cook to 203, that's fine, 204. But hot and fast, if you cooked at 204, it would be so tight, you wouldn't be able to even cut it. Now, when you cook low and slow, it's cooking so long that you're gonna finish it at a lower temperature. So when people say what temp, that is impossible to answer without knowing how long and what temp you're cooking at. So here it is, the Wagyu brisket, right down the pipe. Bigger, thicker, freaking gorgeous look. Look at that. We'll cut this direction. Your flat meat. Oh, she's tender. Super freaking tender. That is juicy. Look how juicy this is right here. Crazy. Look at that. All right, so there you have it, the combo cook, the hybrid version, call it what you want, the Gateway drum smoker, the Smoking Brothers pellet grill. What a combo. This might be my new favorite way to cook a brisket. I'm telling you right now, this brisket is so tender and still so juicy. Normally if you cooked a brisket this tender, I would call it overcooked and it would probably be dry. This brisket is juicy. Like I am covered in juice. And I think some of it has to do with that beef tallow that we injected into it. And then the hot and fast got that flavor and the crust on the outside. And then we wrapped it up in butcher paper and put it on the Smoking Brothers overnight. And it comes out perfectly tender and juicy. I think we're barbecuing.